Hello, friends, and as the title says, I was able to, in the last week, watch 200 episodes of One Piece, and I'm going to tell you about how that went. So, this video might be overwhelmingly negative for some people, but I swear to you, if you reach the end of this video, or just further on in the video, there will be a lot of positive things that I'm going to bring up, so I hope you don't call me a hater right away. But anyway, I thought about doing this whole thing because I posted a Bleach video talking about why I think Bleach is the goated shonen, and a lot of people disagreed with me. Wow, what a shocker. So here's some of the comments that I got on that Bleach video. Bro just admires action and hates story. Wow, well, since One Piece is like 1,000 episode anime, maybe there's story there. And this last one that really made me want to make this video and start watching One Piece again was this. Very interesting comment from Neko-chan. Finished watching Naruto, which is 500 plus episodes, but he can't bring himself to watch One Piece. Skipping filler is around 500 episodes. Dude, before you start talking about the big three, watch and finish One Piece. As much as I love Bleach, and I'm excited for Core 2. I don't know what that is. Your words have no weight. Well, to finally add weight to my words, I thought it was time to finally watch One Piece. And so I did. Now, I didn't start from episode 1, as I said, because it's practically impossible to. And plus, I started watching One Piece when I was a kid. I just dropped it in episode maybe 220. So I went back to see what arc I was in and started from the beginning of that arc, just so I can make sure I'm starting from a fresh storyline and get myself back into One Piece without having it to be too hard. And so I started from the Water 7 arc, which is around episode 230, and I stopped watching at the end of the Amazon Lily arc or something, which is episode 421. So actually I've seen 191 episodes, but let's count 200. Anyway, let's talk about some of the cons of One Piece. Look, everyone who's watching this video, not sure why you're here. Maybe you're wondering, maybe I should watch One Piece. Everyone loves One Piece. I don't know why One Piece has one of the biggest fan bases of all time. Maybe because there's 1,080 episodes. But let me tell you about why you should or should not watch One Piece, and in the 200 episodes, what I've learned. So, here are some of the cons of this show. Honestly, everything took way too long. Everything was way too long. You know what? It was way too fucking long. Every single time, it was way too long. All these new shows, you know, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't know. It's either 12 episodes or 24 episodes in a season, right? Usually 24 episodes when there's a part 1 and a part 2 of a season. And in these 12 episodes, it feels like there's so much that happens, you know? They go from the origin story of not being anything into episode 12, they're already, you know, saving people's lives, and there's so much going on, and they meet so many new friends. It's like in a 12 episode stretch, so much could happen, and all new anime kind of follow that format, you know? But One Piece, I feel like it's just so dragged out. 12 episodes is like the span of one fight. They're just fighting the same dude in 12 episodes. Oh my god, that part of it felt so dated to me. I don't know what One Piece is like now at like episode 1000 something, if they're kind of picking up on that new wave of it being more condensed and therefore kind of easier to watch and easier to stick to. But back in episode 230 to episode 400, we didn't have that luxury of it being condensed to the parts that are really important, right? And because everything took long, sometimes to me, fight scenes didn't really have the weight to them, you know? They didn't have that weight. So I watched a few arcs. Let me tell you about the arcs that I watched. I'm trying to not spoil as much as I can, because if you do watch this video and by the end of it you do want to watch One Piece for yourself, I want to spoil as little as possible and not spoil at all, so that you can watch this with, you know, fresh eyes and make sure you can have an undisturbed, unsoiled watching experience. But I watched the Water 7 arc, the Enies Lobby arc, the Thriller Bark arc. Oh my god, that shit was so ass. Sabaody arc, Amazon Lily arc, and that's it. So 5 arcs in around 200 episodes, and I don't know, the ones that really had the most important fights, I feel like maybe in Enies Lobby And that was when they went up against the government, right? And there was this dude that Luffy was fighting, and he was like this really big government dude, and it was really interesting to see because when they were fighting, it felt like if Luffy lost that, you know, everyone would get arrested, you know, the whole crew is in danger and everyone's future, you know, is at stake here. But sometimes because of the goofiness of One Piece, I never get to feel that kind of tension. I know they bring it up sometimes like, no, Luffy, no, don't die. Please get up in the power of friendship. I know that's like a common thing for all shonen, but sometimes because of the goofiness, the silliness of it, I don't really feel like it's really all that important to win this fight. Another thing is, you know, I don't feel like the stakes are very high in some fights, even the big ones. Another thing is they're not even that creative either. I know a lot of people watch shonen for the creative fight scenes, and honestly, from the beginning of time, Luffy's power, which is stretching, oh my god, I don't know. I just never really clicked with it because it looks so damn goofy. It just looks so goofy. Like, sure, he can stretch and like he can kill people by like punching them by stretching his arm real long and just like hitting them. Like, wow, creative, I guess. Like, oh, we never would have thought of that. Like, there's just nothing that makes it like, how is he gonna kill this guy next time? Because when he fought this big guy, he just killed him with the same fucking move that he kills everyone with. Like, he hasn't even used, like, you know, sometimes in some shonen where like they have this epiphany, and like it is a cliche for some shonen MCs to have an epiphany and just like, oh, I'm gonna kill him using this. But Luffy doesn't do that. He just like gets up and says, I'll fight for my family and friends, and then he just like punches somebody, and it's the same thing every time. I swear it's the same thing every time. Okay, that's another thing. That's so stupid. Next up, the characters, because of the goofy nature of the show, they don't feel that cool. They don't feel that cool. Okay, they really don't feel that cool. Oh my god, I just swear, like, there's sometimes, I told you about how Luffy's, you know, he's goofy, and I don't know, he's a bit unserious, but there's so many times when they introduce this new character. Like this, they introduce the villain of this arc, and he's supposed to be someone like who's super fearsome, and you're really worried about him, and like he's gonna kill all of your friends if you don't take this seriously. I don't feel that, you know, which is what brings me back to that point of fight scenes not really having that much weight, because instead of the villains being that scary, they're kind of not. Like, they're just like goofy little, like, is this supposed to be who I'm supposed to be scared of? Like, it looks so silly and unserious. How can I be, like, there are times in other shonen where, like, you know, the main villain comes up and, like, there's this aura of, like, you know, terror, and everyone is, like, shaking and trembling and in fear because this, like, terrifying new villain has just arrived. And I really like that because it really pushes the story forward. Like, MC really has to jump this hurdle and be better than that guy who was like terrifying everybody, and it really shows the progress of the MC. But in One Piece, it really doesn't feel like that sometimes, and I feel like they're really missing out on that. Next up, even when they introduce new characters, they don't spend time with a cool intro for these characters. I think I told you about, you know, the people who are terrifying, like the villains who are terrifying, and they just really want to show you just how strong they are by making everyone tremble in their boots. I really didn't feel that, and because I didn't feel like they had a cool enough intro, sometimes it feels like One Piece has all these characters and just throwing them around, and I don't really feel the gravity of some of these characters, even if they're supposed to be really important later on down the line. I really don't feel that because they don't get the cool intro. I think the cool intro might be a really big cliche for shonen, but whenever there's someone who's like really strong or really cool, like they deserve that cool intro, because that first impression is so important to me. It makes me remember them. It makes me, you know, it gives me a little bit of context around them and why I should worry about them, or why I should, you know, really think they're super cool. And even with all these episodes, 1,000 episodes, some of these characters I don't feel like got a good enough intro. What's up with that? What's up with that? This next one, some episodes feel meaningless. Oh my god, it's not just episodes. Let's talk about entire arcs, okay? There's this arc called Thriller Bark, okay? It was like 50 episodes. 50 episodes of pure garbage. I swear, I wish I could take that time back. I know I was running at 2x speed, but I wish, Lord God, if you're real, just give me back that time, because I feel like I wasted all of it. I can't believe that 50 episodes were spent on this island where there's just a bunch of zombies, and you know, all they did was I really didn't feel like it was that important to the story, and they fought the boss like multiple times. Like they used multiple strategies, like, you know, strategy, One Piece, there's not much strategy in One Piece, but like they fought this guy a lot of times using different attacks, like different ways of getting him down, and like they all failed, and it was only the last thing that where Luffy was able to beat him. Like, not only was it not that creative, it also felt like, why did you have to show me all of that? If you could have just condensed it in a more succinct, like, just short battle that really drives the point home. Sometimes when you have this long-winded explanation, like long-winded fight, it just really loses all the gravity of the fight, you know? And that's what I felt about this whole arc. It was so useless. Oh my god, please, Thriller Bark arc, maybe if you're gonna watch One Piece, please, skip, for the love of God, skip. I don't know if it's even that important, you know? If you really don't want to skip, you could just hit me up. I could just tell you what happened. I could just tell you, okay? And oh my god, it felt so meaningless. So many episodes are like that too. And there was this next thing where they were fighting this guy and he kind of looked like Sanji. It was, oh my god, it was so useless. Another like 10, 15, 20 episodes that just went down the drain, okay? And I felt, oh my god, it's such a waste of time. I was so happy I was going at 2x speed, because if it was a normal speed, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I would have given up. Oh my god. Okay, like, you know, moving on. Another thing about One Piece is that too much is going on at once. There's so many characters, so many villains, you know, even outside of their own crew, there's different pirates, and they have their own crews too, and everyone's doing a lot of stuff. And especially in that Thriller Bark arc, when Luffy was there and Zoro went somewhere else and Robin went somewhere else, and they were all fighting like all different dudes, and it was like, some of these fights were so useless. And Usopp, which brings me to my next point, some gags are so played out. Like Usopp, I know he's a trickster, he's funny, he tricks everyone by saying he's super strong and all that. Like, how many times is this guy gonna do that shit? How many times is he gonna do it? I don't know. I just want him to stop doing it, because he does it all the time, and I'm so sick of this gag that keeps going on forever. And I know that a lot of people like Usopp, and sure, he's cool, but when you're watching so many episodes in a row, when you're binging the show, sometimes it just gets to be so much. There's so many parts of it that just feel like running gags, and they just keep doing it over and over again, and they feel really played out. I wish they would just, you know, can we just get to the point here? And that's mostly why I feel angry about some of these things, because like, can we just get to the point here? Can we just get to the point? Please, for the love of God, please, can we get to the point? A lot of these fall into that feeling of like me not appreciating a lot of the good stuff that goes on in One Piece, because it's just dragged on for way too long. Okay, so those are the things that I'm really passionate about hating on, because oh my god, can we just move on? And we will move on. I don't want to be like the people who run One Piece, because I want to move on to the next topic, and I don't want to waste people's time. So let's talk about the pros about One Piece. So number one, something that finally scratches that shonen itch. Yes, for so long I've been looking for a shonen. I've been asking my friends, hey, what's your favorite shonen? What do you like watching? And a lot of them are hard to get into, because, you know, you watch a shonen, it ends after 12 or 24 episodes, and then you move on to the next one. It's hard to keep getting invested in new characters, new concepts, you know, new context around these characters. Watching a long shonen like I did when I started watching anime in the first place, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, you know, Hunter x Hunter, like there were so many shows that I could just really sink my teeth into and really feel like I could really attach myself to. Watching One Piece now, 200 episodes of One Piece, it really made me start feeling that way again. Like I could watch a shonen and really sink my teeth into it, you know? It's a really different feeling than a lot of other shows that I can just, you know, get invested in a few episodes and then it just disappears after a while. I have to wait again. It's totally different when there's something that goes on for so long that you get so comfortable with watching it and becomes part of your day, becomes part of your routine, and you get really attached to all the people. I know that, like, I complained a lot about them not getting to the point, but I guess a pro of that is, like, we really get to spend so much time with these characters and a lot of their stories get told, and I really feel like that level of connection and that level of investment doesn't really come with every other anime out there, because it's hard to invest that much when you haven't spent that much time. So that's one thing. I really liked. The next thing is no other shows can really create a story of this caliber, a story of this scale, and depth, because of the sheer scale of the world and the sheer number of episodes there are out there, right? Already in One Piece, I think I've met like 100 different characters, which is like impossible for a lot of different shows out there, because it's just impossible to introduce that many people and have them stick. I don't remember all the 100 characters from One Piece, but I do know that the size of the world just feels so huge. You know, they're pirates, they're sailing the seas and going around to new different islands and new different places. And all the people they meet, all the new, you know, cultures and all the new races and all the new kinds of buildings and architecture. There's so much that makes a world feel so different. Each island feels so different from every other one, that it does give me that feeling of just the scale of the world, the scale of the universe, you know? One Piece is, I feel like it's just a whole other level. It's a whole other stratosphere of huge. And that makes me hope for the future, because a story of this scale, you know, if it does reach a war arc, you know, where all the pirates and all the military and all the navy are going to come together and like they're going to fight each other and all that stuff, it makes me really excited, because when that does happen, I feel like there could be a great, like, a story where the scale can't be matched. It just can't. You know, if there's a huge war, I know there was a war in Naruto, the Ninja War, but in One Piece, just because it's so much bigger, if they were to actually talk about all these, you know, different pirate crews and fighting the navy or something, I don't even know where it's gonna go, but if they do capitalize on just how big it is, I'm so excited about the result, because it's never been seen. I don't think no one can ever do this again, because One Piece is practically the only show that can do this and have a big following that's really excited to see it. So that's another thing. The scale is unmatched, and it's really great. Also, finally, after the Thriller Bark arc, all these new characters were introduced. You know, I wish that they spent more time introducing all of these characters, which is weird, right? Because they spent so much time on this useless stuff, and then finally, when they introduce new characters, it feels like they introduced like 10 new characters in the span of 2 episodes. Like, what is that? I wish you would have just spent all these episodes in the Thriller Bark like explaining all these new characters that are showing up. But because they finally introduced all these new characters, I finally got a concept as to what kind of other pirates there are out there and what it means to be in the Grand Line, you know. And, you know, there are people who have bounties that match Luffy's or even greater than Luffy's, and I got to see, you know, what they do and how strong they are, even if for just a little bit. And I'm excited to see, you know, wow, there's so many different characters, there's so many different powers, and hey, all these people that I'm meeting here in the Sabaody arc, they might come to meet Luffy sometime down the line in the sea, in the open sea. So I'm really excited about that. And finally, a new power system was introduced. Right? I don't want to talk about it that much because it might be a spoiler. I'm not sure if it's called a power system or just kind of like a new ability or whatever. That was finally introduced. So finally, after 200 episodes, because of that new power that was introduced, and because some of the circumstances that happened around episode 400, it looks like Luffy and the gang are going to learn a lot finally. Get better. You know, when I told you about that big fight they had at Ines Lobby, oh man, I just felt like, oh my god, you're really just gonna punch someone to death again? Are we really just gonna stretch our arms and like just punch somebody? Is that really it, Luffy? We're watching this for 300 episodes and you're just gonna punch someone like you did in episode 1. Can we please do something new? And finally, because of the circumstances that happened, I finally feel like they can do something new, and they can have new powers, and they can finally be more creative with this rubber man instead of just making him punch somebody. So I'm excited for that, although I haven't seen the final product of what this time of learning and all these abilities. I don't know what they can do, but it gives me a lot of hope, and it does look like there's gonna be a large-scale battle soon. And the story is finally feeling like it's moving forward after 50 episodes of being stuck on this island and wasting all of my time. I really do feel like finally at episode 420, which is where I stopped, 421, I finally feel like it's really going somewhere, and I'm actually really excited. Also, I just met this new character. Her name is Boa Hancock. I don't know if I can say that if that's a spoiler. I don't think so. Anyway, she's just a character. I finally met Boa Hancock, and it's been a while since I saw a cool character. There are only a few select cool characters in One Piece because the show itself isn't really that cool. It really lacks that cool factor for me. Like, you know, just seeing someone going like, whoa, they're so cool. Like, usually they're just goofy and silly and like, sure, they're strong, but I never feel like they're really cool. So I saw Boa Hancock, and I think she was pretty cool. I thought she was really cool. I like how she looks. And finally, because of that, I've been given hope that the story is moving forward. Luffy looks like he's going to learn a lot more. And the scale of the story is finally just coming to me. And finally showing me that, you know, all these 1,000 episodes are building up to something even greater than I can even comprehend, because I've never had or seen a show of this scale. So I'm really excited to go on. I really think I'm going to keep going. I don't think I can sustain the number of episodes I'm watching every day from now on, so I might tone that down a little bit, but I'm excited to see more. And I'm really happy now that, you know, if I have a little bit of downtime, I can just watch a shonen that really scratches that itch for me, that brings me back to my childhood, watching some dude punch another guy and fighting for friendship and family and all that. I know it's dumb as a grown man, but sometimes I really crave watching those kind of shows. And I'm happy that maybe One Piece can be that for me. I don't know if I'm going to keep watching a lot of it, but I think I'm going to watch every now and then. And there's so much content. So lucky me, I don't really have to wait. It's just up to me if I have time or want to watch all the episodes. So there you go. That was a long video. I'm sorry I kept you that long. That's it. Bye.